Mic check, 1 2. We on? We on? Cool. Hey everybody, and welcome to the 34th episode of Trippin with Theobold. We still here. Episode 34. Thurman Thomas number. We at episode number Thurman Thomas. But hey man, for those of y'all that don't know, the show is called Trippin with Theobold because I be tripping literally and figuratively. I trip in speech and I trip in thought. I literally trip in speech. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with a speech impediment. It's not all the way gone, so I have hiccups every now and again. And rather than getting all worked up and trying to recut and re-edit, I just say, "Come on, Dre," and I move on with life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm playing my nose so much. I don't do the booger sugar, so don't think that this is the booger sugar symptom. But also, this is called Tripping with Theobold because I be tripping in thought figuratively. I got a lot of crazy ideas. I ask a lot of crazy questions. So hence the name Tripping with Theobold. Now, before we go any further, I want y'all to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, do all that YouTube-y stuff. You know what I'm saying? Comment the frog. I said comment the frog. Kermit the frog. The comment section with questions. I don't hold any. I don't filter any of my. I don't filter any of the comments out. So if y'all want to troll. If you want to ask questions, ask questions. Do what you want. This is a free space. Free speech. But before I go any further, gotta put this up here, man. So yeah, man. So I'm getting more subs, man. Thanks for all of y'all who's tuning in and telling a friend to tell a friend. I appreciate y'all. So right now, right, man, like last week I was at 48, 49 subs. So 49 is Tremaine Edmonds. So now we are no longer at Tremaine Edmonds' number of subs. Now we are at 50 subs, right? So hence, I'm not sure if y'all can see this or not right here, but yeah, we are at 50 subs. So right now I have two players that wear number 50. So going from like the furthest right to the left, Kiko Alonso wore number 50 for the Bills a few years ago. And right now, Greg Rousseau wears number 50, and if you tell a friend, I can be at Takeo Spike's number. I got to get the pointing right, man. I couldn't do the weather because I wouldn't know where to point. But, yeah, so if you tell a friend, I can be at Takeo Spike's number of subs, all right? So the reason why I put Kiko Alonso, a.k.a. the Legend of Kiko, and Greg Rousseau up there is because I was actually a big Kiko Alonso fan when he first came out, We drafted him from the University of Oregon. He played for the Ducks. And at first I was real skeptical about the pick. But I remember like watching him play, and this dude has a nose for the ball, man. Like he was kind of like a more athletic version of what's that dude's name on the Patriots? Oh man, I can't even think right now. Teddy Bruschi. He was like a more athletic version of Teddy Bruschi, Like this dude was like a finesse linebacker, like he would intercept the ball. Like he was always, I think for a minute he had like one interception a game, and would get the fumble. Like he always knew where the ball was, man. And I was like, yo, this dude is gonna be good. Haven't heard from him now because he's been bouncing around. So he was on our team before Rex Ryan got there, and Rex Ryan, the type of defense that Rex Ryan ran, Kiko didn't really work out. So we traded Kiko, then he went to the Dolphins, and his career kind of went downhill from there. I think I'm at the 2-minute mark, so I can talk free. I can kind of talk this shit a little more free, like the way I want to talk. All right, so Kiko went to the Dolphins or got traded to the Dolphins, and his career went to some shit. Like the last thing he's remembered for is that hit that he had on Joe Flacco on Thursday Night Football. Like this was an NFL 1989, 1990 Master Blasters hit. Like this shit is illegal. Like as Flacco was trying to slide for the first down, Kiko came like a missile and tried to behead him. You know, it was ugly. You know, but in the '90s that would have been a legit hit. You know, but or maybe like late '80s it would have been a legit hit. But nah, but that was it after Kiko. Like I don't know what happened to him after that. So I was a big Kiko Alonso fan, not because of the hit, but because of just how he played the game, with being able to read defenses and get interceptions when he played for the Bills. Greg Rousseau, like we basically, so that's the other guy to his, that's this guy here, right? That's Greg Rousseau. He came from the University of Miami. He was a rookie this past year, and he's gonna be nice, man. Like we drafted him to beat the Chiefs. Like he had one mission. His goal, like the reason we drafted him is to get after Pat Mahomes. You know, that's the only reason why we drafted him, you know. But he's a solid player, man, great player, you know. And then not Kiko, all these K's. Takeo Spikes, the dude here. There you go. Yeah, Takeo Spikes. He was one of my favorite players, like back when the Bills were in the dungeon era, you know. Like you see the uniforms we have on, like you see the uniforms he has on right there, or the uniform he has on, like that's the uniform the Bills wore from like 2003, I think, to like 2011. But it's the navy blue, royal red, white, nickel. You guys get the point. But the Keo, man, I remember like when he first got, I think we got him from the Bengals, I think. But he had like 1 year where he was just like, I think he had his best year when he played with us the first year he played for us. But then I read an article where well basically he tore his Achilles, and then I read an article after the fact, and they were saying that like with Achilles tears, you know, like when it's gonna tear, like there's nothing they can do. So he had pain in his Achilles, and the trainers and the doctors are like, look, man, we can't operate on it. You gotta let that bitch snap, you know. So but we didn't notice before the game happened or whatever. So I remember when he tore his Achilles, man, I was like, yo, man, that was crazy. But I think he saw it coming the whole time. That's gotta be crazy, man, to play with an injury that you know is gonna happen, that you can't do nothing to prevent. You know, like imagine someone telling you, hey, man, you know, your knee got like 963 more bends before it popped, and we can't fix it. So you're gonna be nervous as hell walking on that knee. You're gonna be trying to save and whatever, but he just played through it. But then afterwards, I remember when he got the surgery, I saw like this little like video where he was trying to like grab tennis balls with his feet and put them into different buckets to kind of strengthen it. But his career wasn't really the same after that, you know? So anywho, enough ranting on that. So if you tell a friend to tell a friend, I can, you know, be at Takeo Spike's number of subs pretty soon, right? So thanks again for tuning in, y'all. Thanks for listening. That sounded kind of weird. It sounded like I'm about to end the video, but really I'm just getting started. All right. So anywho, let's get on with the promotional part of the show where I promote things that I use and like or whatever, right? So shout out to my old lady, man. Look at this. So it's supposed to be a birthday gift. But the vendor that she went through didn't have like the they didn't make the socks like a certain way, so they fit kind of weird. But she went to Rock'em Socks, rock'emsocks.com, you know. She knows I'm a Rock'em Socks fan. You know what I'm saying? And she got my face all on these socks. So these are like my favorite pair of socks right now. You know, it has the Buffalo Bills blue, the royal blue. But Rock'em Socks, if you guys don't know, I got a drawer full of Rock'em Socks, man. Like, socks are my thing, you know. If you looked at, I mean, I don't spend too much money on socks, but like, I like my quality, and Rock'em Socks, they always knock them out the park, man. You know. So yeah, man. Shout out to Rock'em Socks, and shout out to my old lady. You know what I'm saying? Who got these for me, man. You know, she tunes in. Come on, Dre. She tunes into the show like weekly and is supporting it. So, man, shout out to Rock'em Socks. and my old lady. What else I got, man? You got Dungeon Forward. So as you see right now, I'm wearing a Dungeon Forward tactical beanie. I got one and I had to get more, but it's cool because the beanies have like a little thing that you can put your pen in on the side. I'm not gonna do it right now, but you guys get the point, you know. So I had to get these other colors, man. Had to get the gray. Had to get the. Oh, you can't even see this. I forgot. This is like a lime green, neon green. So I'm not really in this like tech lab or whatever. It's a green screen for all you geniuses out there. And then I got the Door to Explorer pink. So I got some stuff I can rock this with, and I got some stuff I can rock this with. You know what I'm saying? So Dungeon Forward, I'm always pleased with their products. They're a little pricey, but you know, the quality is good, style's good, it's different. So I'm gonna keep supporting them. What else I got, man? So these literally just came in the mail. So let me go ahead and. So I ordered these months ago, man. It finally came in the mail. So, 1 second. If I can get them out the box. You might not be able to see these, man. Shit, now that I think about it. So, finally got me a pair of Chef Curry's, aka Steph Curry's. Finally got me a pair. Had to get me a pair, you know. Like Steph Curry, I like what he's doing. I like to support NBA players that are trying to like do their own thing outside of the Nike route. So I had to get a pair. Let me stop talking shit and show you the shoes. Had to get these koi fishes, and as you see, you can't see them, right? They're lime green or like neon, right? Crazy, right? So you can't really see them, right? You can see the bottom, but yeah, they're lime green, lightweight, and these were the ones I really wanted because it has a dark sole, right? Because most of Steph Curry's shoes have the white sole, and it's hard to keep white soles clean. So I went ahead and saw these, and I had to go jump on them. And I went through. Who did I go through to get these? I went through what's the name of the site that I went through? I went through who did I go through? Oh man, now I'm blanking. I went through Kicks. What is it called, man? I gotta look this up, man, because I gotta make sure I here we go. Kicks Crew. That's what I went through. I went through Kicks Crew. And I don't know, man, but I might have to. I don't know, Kicks Crew. I might give them another shot, man. But it took a long time for them to get my shoes here. I know it's COVID times. I know things are different, man. But when I was going through Goat always kind of like they at least told me when to expect my shoe when I ordered it. Like with Kicks Crew, like it went through, and at first I was like, I don't know, like it seemed kind of fishy, you know what I mean? But they got here. I like the shoes. They had good communication through, you know, their customer support. But it took a little bit of time, you know, more time than I wanted. And Goat, they kind of take a long time too, right? Because when I got my Jordan 3s, when I got my Jordan 3s, they like Goat pulled a fast one on me. What Goat did is they took my order, and then they said I was gonna get it by a certain date, and then they never really made the deal with the supplier. So it went through at the end, and they said, yeah, now they said your order's canceled. So I'm like, okay, so where are my shoes at? No, we're gonna give you a refund. I was like, okay. So then I went on the site again, saw the same shoe, ordered it, paid the same amount, and then after I did that, I went on to what site was it? It was what site was that site? It's on the blank right now. StockX, and I saw the shoes were like a lot cheaper. So I tried to cancel my order with Goat, and Goat was like, no, 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 no. You already placed your order. It's too late. You got to wait. So I sent the email, and I was like, well, hey, you canceled on me last time. How do I know you're not going to cancel on me now? You know? And they said, oh, no, no, we made sure it's going to the verification warehouse, and it's going to get. I said, okay. So it's a shame that you have to kind of like keep on people about your orders, man. You know? But whatever. But that was the one issue I had with Goat. That was the one time I had a bad, not so good experience with Goat. But anywho, enough shoe talk. I think I plugged. Oh, I didn't plug everything. So as y'all see, what was that? That was weird. My computer, like, it looked like it froze or something. I'm still recording, right? Okay, cool. I'm still there. We still on. But nah, what happened? So here we go. So I got my TU motherfucker We Run Broad Street shirt. Got this shirt a while ago from a former football player that I played with, or that I tried to walk on. I wasn't on the team. I was like, I was a walk on for a year, and they finally cut me. But a dude that was on the team while I was walking on, he had like this little sale on Facebook where he made these shirts, and I thought it was dope. So I went ahead and got one. The sleeves, like, I'm real funny about my t-shirts. I like my t-shirts to fit a certain way around the sleeves, and they were kind of floppy. So I cut them off and I made it a regular chilling shirt, So TU motherfucker, we run Broad Street. I don't run shit right now because I'm still paying these student loans to these motherfuckers, man. But hey, that's neither here nor there. So let's go ahead and get on with the show and talk about what we want to talk about. But like I said before, man, before we go any further, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend, so I can get to Takeo Spike's number of subs. All right, so here we go. Let me go and talk about this, because we got to talk about this right now. I think this is one. I should have labeled these. Probably. Oh, I didn't want to do that. That's stupid. Here, 1 second. Got to talk about this, man. So, if you don't know what this is Calvin Ridley, man. Calvin Ridley is the star receiver for the Atlanta Falcons from. He played for Alabama. He's a beast. He came in when the Falcons still had Julio Jones, and he took over right after he took over when Julio was on his way out. So if you haven't been watching sports and you don't know what's going on, Calvin Ridley has been banned by the NFL for 1 year for gambling. And I know at first glance, like the first time y'all hear that, you guys are like, yeah, man, it's fucked. Yeah, man, he should sit out. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, he should sit out. You don't gamble in sports, especially if you play. So when I first read the headlines, I was like, yeah, he a dummy, and I was going along. That's what I'm saying. It's very careful to not buy into the propaganda. Like when you read the news headlines, you have to also pause, stop, take a step back, and ask yourself, what are they not telling me? Let me get all the facts, before I make a decision. So, when you first hear about a player that plays in a professional sport, gambling in his league, you think, okay, that's some shady shit. It's illegal. It's terrible. Whoop-de-whoop. All this, that, and the third, right? So, I had to pause and take a step and think about it, right? So, Calvin Ridley was out for the whole year, pretty much due to personal reasons, right? So he wasn't even playing. So here's the thing: if he bet on the Atlanta Falcons, which I don't know, if he had any bets on the Atlanta Falcons, then he deserves to be punished for that. Because if you play for a team, you have insider information. You talk to your players via phone, who these players are. You talk to them, and not only that, you're probably in film study, film sessions, breaking down how you're going to beat an opponent. So if you know what they're trying to do, and you already know who you're playing with, that's an unfair advantage. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, then the punishment fits the crime. But If you bet on anybody else in the league, I think that's fair game. If you're out, right? Like if you're out, I think that's fair game because technically you shouldn't be sharing any information between any team, right? Any play calls or anything like that. So if they found proof that any player is doing that, regardless of gambling or not, that should also to me be illegal as well. But the NFL got some fucking nerve, man. Right? The NFL is pushing DraftKings down the fans' throats. Right? And DraftKings is a form of gambling. I don't like to call it gambling. I like to call it, surveys, or I like to call it I like to call it something other than gambling, but for all intents and purposes, it's gambling, right? So DraftKings or NFL got a lot of nerve because they're pushing gambling down people's throats, So I don't know. Like to me, the NFL is very hypocritical right now in this stance, right? And you can't compare this to Pete Rose situation, right? The dude that played for the Reds back in the day, right? Because Pete Rose was gambling on games he was playing in. Like that's some shady shit. Now over time, I think he paid the price. I think he should get into the Hall of Fame. But I think a few years ago, like they had the final vote, and they said he can't get in. So it sends a message: hey, look, don't gamble in sports while you're playing. But Calvin Ridley's situation is totally different. So I think there needs to be more investigation on what he gambled on, who he gambled on, and if it wasn't anyone on the Falcons or whatever, then I think it's fair game. If you're gonna push gambling, why can't he get like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's just my thought. A lot of y'all probably like, Dre, you tripping? Gambling's bad. Gambling. I'm like, look, man, maybe he like at the end of the day, you don't know someone's situation. Like you don't know like what he's going through and how he's trying to set up his money for the future. Like you just don't know. So me personally, I wouldn't do it because like I'm a bitch. Like I be always asking questions about shit because I don't want to get what little money I have took. So I'm gonna be extra careful with it. But as far as when you look at like the headlines and you look at how everything is, the media, like I said, they like to do a lot of propaganda. So when you hear gambling, sports, suspended for a year, all you want to do is go jump on them. But when you look at everything else, it's like this dude was out. So anywho, I'm also curious to know how much did he win? Like, how did the NFL know? Like, to me, when you gambling and you lose, no one give a fuck. Like, not even the IRS, you know what I'm saying? But when you win big, that's when motherfuckers want to start pocket watching. So I'm thinking Calvin Ridley probably hit a couple mil or had half. I'm pretty sure he probably, came up on some bread and he was good at it, and that's when they probably tried to stop him. Like, hey, Negro, that's too much money for you. Hey, where is this coming from? Gambling, sports, you're out of here, buddy. You're done. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just curious to know how much did he win? All right. And if the NFL was monitoring this, how long did they know before they came out with what they came out with, right? Like, what if they knew for the whole year and he was losing and they didn't give a shit? But then when he hit like a milli maker on DraftKings, they were like, whoa, no. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Take a sip of this kombucha, or it might not be kombucha. Who knows what's in this bottle? Like I said before, no one knows what's in this bottle. And as you notice, I'm putting, well, you guys can't see it, but I'm putting my kombucha or any kind of drink away from my table, right? Because I had an incident with my Mac keyboard. You know what I mean? I spilled some wine. I think I spilled some Moscato. Oops, I'm telling what I'm drinking. Well, I'm not drinking. You don't know what I'm drinking right now. But I spilled some Moscato on one of my keyboards, and I wiped it up quick. But then over the course of a couple days, them keys got sticky, and it was hard to like really type. So I went on YouTube, looked up a video, got the isopropyl alcohol, and got the Q-tip, tried to clean around the edges to See if I could loosen the keys up. That didn't work. So I found another video, popped out the keys. That didn't work. And Apple, man, the way they made their keyboards, man, they are designed to work the way they are supposed to work, you know? So that's me being sarcastic, right? But man, when I tried to put these keys back, man, that shit is hard, man, because all the keys aren't the same, right? Like the size of the keys dictate the hooks in back of the keys, and they have like metal bars on some of them, and it's all these little things you have to do to get the key back in place. And when I tried to put them keys back, they were just like stuck flat. I couldn't get them to pop back up. So I had to buy another keyboard, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't put any food or drink around any of my Mac products, you know what I'm saying? And I said earlier, the keyboard is designed to do what it's supposed to do, you know, which is have you go out and buy another keyboard. Like that's what they do. So for all you Mac users or people that are trying to buy a Mac, just know that, man, when you get a keyboard, keep all food and drink away from your shit, you know? It's not worth it. All right, so now that I got off on that rant, let's talk about something else right now. So yeah, let's talk about this thing here, man. We gotta talk about this because this is in the news. Oh, not this. Here we go. Yeah, we gotta talk about Ukraine and Russia. They still at it, you know. Like last week, I was like my nerves were like really kind of uptight because I'm like, oh man, we about to really get into World War III, you know. But I mean, it could still happen, but I'm not as anxious over it because, like I said before, you gotta pay attention to the media and the propaganda. You know, like the way the media was spinning it, they were spinning it like Putin was Hitler. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying what Putin is doing. I'm not excusing what Putin is doing. I think what he's doing is fucked up, but it's not on the scale of what Hitler was doing. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Putin, basically it's like this, right? The way I look at it is, it's like the reverse of the Civil War, right? It's like the reverse of the American Civil War, right? Like, you guys know your history. The Confederate States wanted to break away. The Union said nah. They fought. And then the Confederacy stayed, right? Or the Confederates had to stay part of the Union, you know? But with Russia, Ukraine used to be part of Russia. They found a way to get away. Russia's like, nah, y'all got to come back. And they fighting over that again, you know? So right now, at first when I was like, yeah, man, like, I was like, man, I want to see you. Here's the thing, right? The fact that Ukraine is getting invaded is fucked up. Like, I don't believe in war and death and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see the Ukraine win. But there's been a lot of bullshit coming out about Ukraine. All right, there's been a lot of shit coming about, a lot of funkiness coming out about Ukraine. Like, you know, like they got race issues over there, right? Hardcore white supremacy issues over there, you know? So, like I said, I don't wish anything bad on anybody, you know what I'm saying? But, that's they fight, you know? Like, I'm not about to go and get all worked up and want to go and help somebody fight that doesn't like black people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying the whole country doesn't fuck with black people, but they have some serious race issues. They have some serious race issues over there when it comes to black people, you know? And it's been coming out on Twitter, people giving a little testimony, people coming out and saying how it is over there, you know? So like I said, I don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody. I don't want to see people get killed. I mean, or whatever. You know, I don't want to see no war. Like, to me, wars are necessary, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to fighting and other people's fights, I make sure I know what they're fighting for and how they view me, right? Like, I don't want to be a mascot for someone else to help them with whatever, just so they can go treat me like shit at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So, but nah, man, it's really weird, man. Like, I'm looking at on on the highways, you see all these like, yeah, we stand with Ukraine. And I mean, we want, like, at the end of the day, racist or not racist, you know what I'm saying? You want to see, like, you don't want to see a country get invaded. But at the same token, I think that, I think right now, I think U.S. has the right stance. They're like, hey, we're not going to support someone else and destroying you, but y'all on your own, So I think the U.S. has the right stance, but I think they might have the right stance for the wrong reason. But the fact that we're not trying to go jump up over there and go fight, I'm like, that's the right move, And it kind of goes back to, like, I know I'm gonna get slapped for this, or I might get dinged for this, but I don't know. I'm just speaking freely, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's called Trippin with Theobold, because I'm tripping. I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying? I'm working through shit, and I'm speaking my truth, you know what I'm saying? So basically, here's the thing, right? So I gotta say this real carefully, because I know people might not like what I'm gonna say, but like, this is why I don't jump into domestic disputes, because you don't know the whole situation. Now, no one, look, at the end of the day, you don't want to see anyone get their ass whooped. Like, you just don't want to see that, right? So, me personally, if I see a domestic dispute, I'm calling the police. That's their job. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen situations where people jumped into domestic disputes, and they went and they pulled the dude off the chick, and then the chick gets mad at the dude that's trying to help her from getting her ass whooped, and starts to go beat on the dude that's trying to help. And then the dude that's helping gets charged with assault. I've seen that shit. I remember I was in one situation where I was watching a fight with some. I was at a fight party with some friends, and we came out of this fight party, and this dude and this chick, they were having like a domestic dispute. It wasn't physical yet, but it was like a lot of yelling and like a lot of door slamming, right? And it looked like it was getting bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude looked like he was about to do something. So my one boy, he decided to go, and that's just who he is, right? Like, he wants to always help. So he was like, look, he told the dude, he said, look, if anything happens to her, you got to deal with me, And the dude started mouthing off at him and started cussing him out. And then the chick got out the car and started cussing my boy out. I'm like, yo, he's trying to help you. So, end of the day, man, when it comes to people's squabbles and their shit, all I can do is call the authorities and just give a description and keep moving. Like, I'm not the dude to come jump in, man. That's not what I do, man. Because like I said, you don't know what the situation is, or you don't know how those people are going to respond to you and how they're going to try to spin the situation on you. Now, if you're all about trying to really go all out and help people to the point to where you're willing to go to jail, or you're willing to pay lawyer fees to get two people off your ass legally, then go knock yourself out. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't got that bread for that, man. I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I know that opinion is probably not popular. Like my opinion on my stance with the Ukraine and Russia, but it is what it is. So what else we got going on here, man? Next thing I want to talk about is this. Did I add it yet? Okay. I think I added it. No, I didn't even add it. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna add it because it's not gonna be that long. Gotta talk about gas prices, man. Yeah, these gas prices is ridiculous, man. Like, I was driving out in like Hollywood, man, and I saw gas prices in the sevens. I remember when $4 a gallon was bad, but $7, man, I'm like, shit. $7 a gallon. And Biden recently said that it's time for Americans to get back to work, like physically to go back into work. He wants to see everyone back at work because he wants to see the downtowns flourishing again. I'm like, man, if you don't shut your old ass up, man, and go chill, how the fuck we gonna get to work with gas being the way it is, man? Bruh, nah, we need to stay home. Look, working from home is what we all should have been doing, man. If you can do it, right? Working from home is efficient, right? Like every day, people got to get up for an average of an hour and a half or an hour to get to work, and then drive back in traffic, right? That's 3 hours of our life that adds up over time. So to me, it's like if we have the technology and we have the tools and if we have the talent, we can work from home and get this shit done from home. Do 8 hours, call it a day, get my check. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Joe Biden tripping, man. So his approval rating, I know it was pretty low before it was pretty low before the State of the Union address, but that shit got to be trashed now because he's trying to push people back to work with gas prices the way they are. Nah, Biden, bro, you need to chill out. So I'm starting a new segment of the show called Work Woes, because a lot of times at work, I don't know about y'all, but me, a lot of times at work, I get I be having like a lot of shit built up inside of me at work because there's a lot of psychological abuse that goes on at work, man, that people don't talk about, and I'm talking about that shit here, right? And I'm not going to talk about it at work because the purpose of work is to go there, get the check, of course, do the work, and then go the fuck home, I remember one time I was in I forgot, I was in one meeting or something, and it was like some sort of like a mental health thing they wanted to do at work, and they wanted us to come in and just draw. They said, "Hey guys, come on in. Hey, we have crayons, we have paper. Hey guys, just draw out. We want you to draw. Don't use any words. Just express to us how you're feeling about work. Like, when you get up in the morning, what do you look forward to the most in coming to work? Draw it out on paper." And I thought to myself, you motherfuckers is stupid, If I sat up here and told you guys how I really felt about work right now, you could use that as tangible proof to get my ass about the paint, and then I ain't got no check. So I know how to bite my tongue and eat shit for 8 hours a day so I can get this check and then go the fuck home. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got a bad attitude about work, but that's what keeps me sane, right? Like if I don't speak this shit, like I'm gonna go crazy. So this is an outlet where I'm talking this shit about work. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of shit. Like, look, all work is work is just kindergarten all over again. Like it's the whole shit. It's the whole kindergarten recess all over again, right? You got to go outside. You got to ask to play in someone's sandbox, right? You got to get in with the cool kids, the guys that have power. Then you get in their sandbox. Then you make little sand castles and shit just for someone else to come knock them down. You burn some calories, go inside, eat some graham crackers, and then go to fuck home, right? Same thing with work. Work is the exact same way, man. But anywho, I have a lot of things I want to talk about work, but I'm not going to do it all in this episode because I feel like, it's good to just go in and really tease apart, or peel back the onions of all the inner work dwellings. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but we gonna go deep into this work shit, okay? So, first of all, let me go ahead and, this is where I'm gonna start off, right? I'm gonna talk about systems engineering, right? Because I'm a systems engineer by trade, right? I'm a systems engineer, right? Let me go ahead and pull this up. This is what I'm talking about now. So, I think you guys saw it earlier. Nope, that's not what I want. Here it is. Come on, man. Then let's get this dude out here. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah. So what you're looking at right now is a V model. Okay? This basically sums up what I do, or what I have done at different phases throughout my career, right? But I didn't go to school for systems engineering at all. All right, I went to school for electrical engineering. All right, so double E, right, like signals and systems, analog, digital communications, all that stuff, right? So I went to school for that. But when I came out of school, work experience and school experience, like, doesn't really like always work out. So in my case, systems engineering was what was available, and they said you could do it. So I said, cool, I need to check. Let me go do this shit. So at first I felt kind of like weird about it, right? I remember when I first interviewed for this position. I didn't even interview for the position. I just went in like to like this. It was like a career. It was like a round robin event where I had to go to, and then you get talk to different managers. They want to kind of see what skill sets you have. And I remember I talked to one manager, and he was like, yeah, man, you want systems engineering? I said, I do. He's like, yeah, that's what you want. I'm like, He's like, you want that, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm doing this. I'm like, I'm trying to get a job out of college, Had no clue what it was, man. So, I've been doing system engineering for the past, do the math in my head. I've been doing it for, damn, it's scary. I've been doing it for about 16, 17 years, man. Work for different companies doing it. I think here's the thing, right? Long story short, I think system engineering systems engineers are the glue that holds the company, that holds the teams together. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like the common sense people. We're the ones that ask all the common sense, bird's eye view questions, and then we may have to interface with the customer and tell them what's going on, but we have to be smooth enough to talk with the customer, but technical enough to talk with software and hardware engineering, right? So it's a very unique skill, but like, I don't have any like tools that I like use, right? Like, I like to be able to put tools on a resume and say, look, I can do this thing with this. Like, I'm a beast with this, or this tool here, or this tool there, and I can do whatever you want me to do with it, and I just go do it. But system engineering is all about like, just like your thought process and how you think about shit. You know what I'm saying? So basically, the big thing that system engineers do, or that a lot of us touch, is a thing called requirements. Say it with me, requirements, right? So a lot of people in my field like to write requirements. They like to write requirements, right? And if you write requirements, then you're doing the shit wrong, right? Like, the product you're working on is probably some bullshit, right? System engineering is not about just writing requirements, man. Like, you have to like know the design. Like, you have to say, what are the use cases? How is someone going to use this? When are they going to use this? What are the safety features? Like, how are we going to verify and validate all this shit, right? Like, you have to like play with the models, the block models, and just like, think of it like clay, right? Like, you're like on a pottery wheel, right? And you get this massive clay, and you're shaping the clay, right? And the clay is the model, right? You're trying to get the model worked out, right? And once you get the model set, then what you do is then you derive the requirements from the model, and then you divvy the requirements out to all the disciplines, right? To the software engineers, the electrical engineers, the hardware engineers. And then while they're working away at that, your job is to then go write the test cases and the procedures. So, when they come back with the product and it all is supposed to fit together, your job is to make sure it all comes together nicely, and you test all the pieces out. And when you test it all out, it works the way it was supposed to work when it was advertised to the customer. That's system engineering, right? So let me give you an example, right? And let me just give you an example, right? So I was at one company, and they had me work on the software compatibility algorithm, right? So it was like all these different things, all these different like media sets and load sets that had to go on different pieces of hardware, and then the hardware has to work together. So all the different software pieces have to all be aligned to work, right? So if you loaded the wrong software piece, or if it was a corrupt file or a corrupt load, the shit was supposed to like, trigger a fault to say, hey, go check what you have loaded, right? So I played with this model for about probably like a couple months, probably like maybe like 4 or 5 months, right? And I kept scheduling these meetings every week, right? Or every day almost. and I'd be in these meeting rooms or whatever with all these other engineers, and they would always complain, why are we looking at the same fucking diagram, man? Don't you do any work? Why are we looking at the same drawing? Why are we looking at the same thing? Oh, by the way, this doesn't do that, it does this. And one guy would be like, nah, it does this, nah, it does. And they would start, so I would sit back quietly. This is why we're here. Because y'all motherfuckers don't agree on how this shit's supposed to work. So I'm here to try to help us come together to see one common vision, right? So I remember every meeting they would just be like, man, how much longer are you gonna be working on this? Don't you have other work to do? I'm tired of looking at the same fuck. Like they would be bitching. Then after 5 minutes of bitching, oh yeah, no. This PFM module goes here, and it's gonna be getting input from here, and it's gonna be getting. So while they're talking, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see. No, that's not gonna work. Okay, cool. Let me go back and. So I'm the one that's playing around with the model. I'm the one playing around with the little diagrams, right? So I'm playing around with all the shit or whatever. And then finally, once I had those meetings, once those meetings started to have less technical debates and the dust started to settle, I'm like, okay, now we're coming up with a product. Now the product is solid, right? So once that happened, man, I just started peeling the requirements out of the model, right? I started peeling them out. And when I got done, I had like over 900 objects, right? Like figures and requirements. I had over 900 objects in that shit, right? And software engineering, like there's like a brotherly kind of like weird relationship between software engineers and system engineers, right? So software engineers, they have to like stick to a schedule. And a lot of times what they do is they play games with the schedule, right? Like what they do is they'll do shit like they'll play this game called Big Rock, Little Rock, right? So like they'll come to me and be like, hey Andre, man, hey, those requirements you wrote, they're a little too detailed. Like you're telling me how to do my job and you should be really just telling me what needs to be done, not how to do it, right? Or, you know, they'll come back and be like, hey, there's not enough definition here. You need to add more definition. So while you do that, we'll be over here doing this, right? So what they're doing is they're buying time because their schedule's slipping. But when I wrote my requirements, 900 objects, and everyone had the peer review, right? And when they tried to stump the design, but the design had already been stumped. You know, they were like, hey, but if this does this, and how come this requirement's gonna do that? Like, why do we need this requirement? Oh, let me pull out the model. We need this model here. We need this requirement here because if not, this model or this won't be able to do that, you know? Oh, okay, I get it, right? But then once the requirements were done and once they were out of peer review, man, these motherfuckers would try to play Big Rock, Little Rock with me. And when they came and they tried to come and convince me that, hey, you might need to go back. I'm like, no, don't need to do that. Here's the model. Here are the requirements that came from the model. No issue. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Right? So at the end of the day, I spent a lot of time on the models up front, or the model up front, which saved us time in the end, because if you rush through the model and just write the requirements down, software's going to play all kind of games with you, and they're going to keep holding up the schedule, or because they need more time, and it's going to be this constant back and forth. So at the end of the day is, where do you want the work done? Like, it's going to take the amount of time it's going to take, you know? Either you can do it right once, or you can do it wrong 100 times, but you're going to get the shit done once. Right? So anywho, that's like a nutshell of what I do. All right. So that's my skill set, right? My skill set is like, I know how to get in and come in at a bird's eye view, see what they're trying to do, and look at, you know, all the models in place, or come up with the model to help them do what they want to do. And then I peel the requirements out and then divvy it out and write the procedures and the test cases to go back and test my shit. You know what I'm saying? To make sure it works the way it's supposed to work. All right. So, I mean, end of the day, it's a unique skill. I'm glad that I kind of stumbled on this, but there are pros and cons to this job, right? The pros are, like I said, is you develop you develop critical thinking skills, right? So you think beyond what needs to be thought about. Like, you have to think things all the way through. Like, I'm always thinking to myself, how can this break? How can someone use this? Like when like I'm always thinking about all these different things, right? So, and that's a useful skill that you can use in life, you know. And of course, you know, when I work, you know, it pays the bills and then some, right? But the cons are, man, is a lot of companies don't really buy into system engineer. Like they treat system engineers like scribes, right? Like they think that they're so, like a lot of people in different companies think that they're so fucking smart. And they'll be like, oh yeah, just get the system engineer guy to go document my shit, but we're doing the real work. We're doing all the technical work. Hey, buddy, go write my shit down. It's already done. I'm like, okay. And I start writing this shit down. I find all these holes and I got questions. Hey, what about this? Hey man, stop being difficult, man. It's already done, dude. I'm like, okay. You know? So with that being said, there's like a lot of social growth that comes with that, right? Like you have to learn how to work with people every day, you know? So I'm in a situation. I'm not gonna talk about this situation right now. But now that you guys know what I do, right? Well, I'm a comedian first, right? But then this work shit is now second, and you'll see my thought. You'll see why that is, right? Because like I said, at the end of the day, I didn't. It's not like I said I didn't say anything yet, but where's I going with this? At the end of the day, I know that I don't own anything at work, right? So the way I view work is totally different now, right? Like the way I view work is a tool to get money, right? And what you do with your money outside of work is on you, right? So like work, here's the thing, right? Work is like, it's like a titty. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a titty, right? And if you're trying to get milk, and if all you want to do is sit up under a titty and just drink milk all day and get comfortable, the older you get, by the time they kick you out of their lap and they say no more milk, you're gonna be like discombobulated. You're not gonna know how to really exist in society. But the key is with work, and this is my mindset on work, is I use the money from work to build shit outside of work. So once I build my shit outside of work that can make money, I want my work to turn in, or I want my job to turn into something that I do for fun, not something that I need. You know, that's the whole goal. That's the game. That's the game, right? Because I had a friend of mine, he started working for this company, and they had like a presentation or whatever, and this dude was joking with him. Well, he was being serious. The guy said, hey man, he said, hey guys, welcome to the team, welcome to the company. You know, he said, hey, we want you to buy that boat. We want you to buy that yacht. We want you to buy that house. We want you to get married and have them kids. You know why? Because it's going to keep you working for us. He was joking, but he was serious. So if that's the game, man, this carrot donkey shit got to go. I'm not built for that, man. So a lot of people I see a lot of times, they'll go to work to get comfortable. Like they want to go to work and make work home and have work husbands and work wives and bring their home to work and wear slippers and shit and put their feet up on their desk and drink coffee and talk shit by the machine about what's going on at home. And when I'm at work, I am tactical. I get in, I get out. My whole thing when it comes to work is, and this is gonna sound real messed up, but this is how I am. You know, my thing is when I go to work, I do my job, I want my fucking check, then I go to fuck home. It's that simple. It's not calculus. It's not algebra. It's just simple. It's just simple hustle. You know, like you got to be building something outside of work that can make you money. Because I've seen people get cut. I've been cut, man. And when companies cut you, you see what you are to the company. You see exactly what you are, a number. So if you sit up here and try to make friends with the manager and upper management, and you think that you wasting your time. But that's just me. You know, you need to figure that out on your own. But let me go talk about. I want to talk about this one coworker I had in the past, man. So I got to be careful, right? I got to be real careful with this. So when I got laid off, I had to sign paperwork, right? So I didn't get laid off due to like poor performance. I always do my job wherever I go. I got laid off because of the pandemic. So I signed paperwork that basically said, we're gonna give you a severance, but by us giving you a severance, you can't talk about us or anyone in the company like by name, right? So I had all the paperwork I had to sign for that, right? So I got to be real careful not to mention the company and not to mention certain people. So let me just start off by saying that this begins the tales of the trials and tribulations of S1, right? So S1 is a person, right? I'm just gonna call him S1. And I have so many stories about this dude, man. Like, I gotta take a drink. So S1, right? So when I first started my job, at this company, everything was going good. Like, I felt like the work they were giving me or what was being asked of me, I was like overqualified, which is like, oh great, I have a chance to shine at a job in my career, right? I have a chance to really shine. So my end goal was to do so well and really outperform everyone so well to the point where if I threatened to leave the company, they would be like, oh, no, don't leave. We need you. Hey, what can we do to make you want to stay? Oh, cool. Let me work remote. That's all I wanted. All I wanted was to work remote. I didn't care about the pay. I mean, the pay was good already. I mean, they could have done better with the pay. But what I really wanted was to work from home. That was it. I don't want to be no fucking manager. I'm not trying to climb a ladder. I just want to be able to work from home because I got other things I'm trying to build outside of work. And me coming to work every day is taking up time. So for the first 6 months, I found out that the company culture had some culture issues. Like, that shit was bad, But it is what it is, Then we had this one coworker start working with us, a guy named S1. I'm just gonna call him S1. He interviewed, and that weekend I actually I think I went home for a wedding that weekend, but they interviewed him during that time period. Or was it during that time period? I think they interviewed him during that time period. And the way the interview process worked at my job before was the manager had people individually interview with a person or with the candidate. And then they would then bring all the people that interviewed the candidate back into a room with the manager. And then we had to give our feedback. And then we voted on whether we wanted this person to join the team or not, right? So everyone who interviewed this dude said, no, don't hire. Right? They said don't hire. Not because he was a bad guy, but it was just, you could tell he didn't get the nature of the work. The way he approached different things from a behavioral standpoint versus a technical standpoint just wasn't going to cut it. So they hired him anyway. So we said, okay, no big deal, whatever. He got hired, cool, whatever. So the very first day, me and this dude, S1, the very first day, the first time we met, I could see something was going to be off, right? Like, it was me, S1, and like another coworker, and we went out to lunch. And S1 goes, like, we're ordering food, and while we're waiting on our food, S1 was like, he's like, hey, Andre. He's like, hey, man, how long do you think it's going to take you to get make done? And I gave him an answer, and I said, I thought through it, and I said, okay, well, I mean, I didn't give him this whole thought process, but I just said about a year, And the reason why it was a year was because I knew the culture. I knew like how our processes were broken. I knew how it was gonna take time for people to buy into what I was trying to do. I knew it was gonna take time for people to actually go through and peer review. Like, I had all this all worked out in my head. Like, I had it all worked out per schedule, And he goes, he's like, I'm gonna be done in a month. So I was like, okay, cool, shit. Let me go ahead and sit back and fall back and watch him and see what he does. Man, this nigga was Kermit the Frog in shit every day. When I say Kermit the Frog, he was just doing this. Like, y'all seen that meme of Kermit the Frog when he's angry typing? Just every day this motherfucker came in and just did this shit. This motherfucker spent more calories doing this shit than thinking, you know? Just pumping out shit. Like, this motherfucker looked like, y'all remember Charlie Brown and shit? This motherfucker looked like Schroeder. Remember Schroeder from Charlie Brown, the dude that played the piano? This motherfucker be doing this shit, just pumping out bullshit every day, just doing this shit every day, not thinking, not doing, not caring about nothing. So anywho, we had our first meeting together, and that shit was weird, man. Not weird, it was scary, you know. We were in the conference room, and we were working through a problem or how to solve an issue, and I took part of what I had from another company, and it wasn't anything IP. It was just like a method of. It wasn't even a method. It was just this is how we did things, but it wasn't IP, right? It wasn't like I'm giving away intellectual property. But I said, oh well, when it comes to moving data, this is what we did, you know, at my last company. And as I'm drawing it out on the board, this dude snatches the marker from my hand and says, "Nuh-uh, it doesn't do it like that. It works like this and this and this and he started shaking and his face started turning red. This motherfucker like he about to have a stroke. I was like, nigga. So he was, you know, he looked like the Incredible Hulk and shit when he was done breathing. He was, I'm like, yo. I said, man, I'm done here. I went back to my desk. I was about to knock that motherfucker out, man. Like, the way he snatched the pen, like, first of all, I'm like, how you gonna tell me how something didn't work at my job before and you weren't even fucking there? You know what I'm saying? So, that was the first thing. Then two, this dude snatched the marker out of my hand like a kindergartner, like a fucking toddler. So when I saw that shit, I was like, man, bro, stay. I said to myself, man, he gotta keep the fuck away from me, man, because that's just too much stress, man. So he comes by my desk afterwards, and after like the day is over, he's like, hey man, I just want to apologize. You know, and I mean, you know, I'm just passionate, you know, and there's nothing wrong with being passionate, you know. We're all trying to work and get along. I just said, I said, all right. So that's the first tale from S1, and I have like about 20 of them, man. So, anywho, nah, I'm not fooling with that booger sugar. My nose just itch. But anywho, I got lots of tales. Like if I sat here and told you everything about S1, we'd be here. This would be like a 5-day video, which is why I'm breaking it up into small chunks, you know. But we're gonna come back and keep revisiting S1 every now and again. But what else we got going on? Enough work stuff. I got to get out of here. Comedy bump. So my comedy bump for the week basically is which is so if you guys don't know, the comedy bump portion of the show is when I talk about my trials and tribulations with comedy or stand-up comedy and how I've overcome certain things or what I've had to endure, you know. So I said endure, it's endure, right? Okay, whatever. So problem I have, which I keep kind of bumping my head against, is I always tend to go up with too much material. Every time I go to a mic or a show, I'm always like, I go up with information overload. Like I have too much material that I'm trying to do in the time allotted, you know? And I think the reason why that is because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm stuck and going, and I have dead space, right? So when I tend to get all the information in my head that I want to do, I go to shows and I tend to just kind of like push play in my brain or mentally, and I just kind of sequentially go through my material. And I have a unique method of how I go around and how I change up material on the fly and stuff. But the problem is I'll try to get through all the material and like I'll try to rate my set on if I got through the material or not. And yeah, I'll get laughs, but a lot of times like I don't need to even do I think a lot of times I don't even need to do half the material I go up there with, So I think going up there prepared to do the material is one thing, but I have to learn how to kind of play around a little bit, which is what I'm working on, right? I gotta learn how to play around because, in my opinion, the goal is to, or my ideal set is the set where you don't have to use any material. Like if you get on stage and you just talk about the pink elephant in the room, like what's going on, like right this second, and if you can keep playing off of it and people are having a good time, and you're having a good time and you're having fun, that's a win-win, But it's kind of like you got to find that little tweak spot where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get on stage, I'm gonna fuck around for a little bit, I'm gonna have fun for a little bit, and then when people are kind of like getting settled and they're like, and things start getting shorter, that's like your cue to kind of say, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead and get to my material, right? And then you have to be able to kind of interleave and go back and forth, right? Because sometimes you might be able to go do a joke, something happens, and then you get to come back and then play some more, play around with something more, riff a little bit, and then come back, right? So my problem is I tend to go up with like way too much material, and then I feel like I'm like memorizing or I'm trying to recite everything that I thought about or wrote about, as opposed to just getting up there and having fun. So I got some ideas, some methods on how I'm going to work on that. But this happened to me this past week, actually. I did a show at this theater, small little theater, small space. And what happened was there was basically I was like later on in the show, and like a lot of people, or not a lot, but more people came in the middle of the show, and they were like biting at stuff, right? Like they were having a good time, right? And the energy of the room picked up, So when energy of the room picked up, they had like two comics on the lineup that you could tell they were new, right? Like they kind of brought the energy down, and I'm like, yo, I'm about to wake him back up. And right when the dude that went before me got off stage, like the audience got up and left, right? And it was just comics in the room, so my energy dropped. And like I went up there, the first joke, like I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do this joke. I'm about to go mash out. And then I got the laugh, but then it was like a energy came back down again. And in retrospect, what I should have done was I should have just called the attention to the room. I should have just played up. I should have played on people just getting up and leaving, and had fun. I shouldn't have even done half of the material I went there with. I should have just went up there and played around, and then maybe did like two jokes and then got off stage, But that's the thing with like comedy, right? Is no matter what the room is, you still have to bring it, So it's easier for me to go into a room that I know is dead and get used to the room being dead, and then hearing great jokes and hearing a dead audience, for me to get up to still do my thing because I know what the expectations are, right? But it's hard when you see the room build up and more people come in and then they leave right before your set, right? So I have to work on just, no matter what, always having a solid product or a solid game plan to how to approach those situations, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't say that I bombed. It was just like, I wouldn't say that I bombed, but I mean, it was one of those things where like I didn't play my situation the best I could have played it, and I'll leave it at that. So with that being said, before we go any further, make sure you like this video, tell a friend to tell a friend, so I can get to Keo Spike's number of subs. Hit up the comment section, Kermit the Frog that shit. Put like, troll me if you want to, what I'm saying, do it, like, put whatever you want to put in there. AT is where it's at on all forms of social media. Follow me. All right. So with that being said, what up next for me, I think I have some shows in my calendar I have to go back and double check on. But I think like the one thing you do out in LA or just out in general if you're a comic is you mingle with other comics, you network, and they throw you work, right? So I had a couple comics throwing me work. I got to go back and double check my dates, to make sure that those dates are still on. But One date that's definite, that's for sure. I got my chocolate sundaes grad spot date. Yeah, chocolate sundaes. So remember I told y'all about the performance I did on the 12th of last year? Sorry, December 12th of last year. So I followed up and they got back to me with a grad spot date, and my grad spot date is on February 23rd of 2023. Got almost a year. But if things keep going the way they're going, I'm pretty sure I'll find a way to kind of bump up and move that up a little bit. But right now, that's my date, my graduation date, grad spot date, 2/23/23. So like I said before, AT is where it's at on all forms of social media. Follow me. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And with all that being said, I'm out of here, folks. Peace.